ihe na-evite drug abuse. One of them ihe do na coping mechanism.
Onye ọbụla na-agba mkpụrụ mmiri ma ọ bụ onye dị used to intake marijuana, that person can do and undo. Ụmụ ndị na-ere property ụmụnne ha just ka ha nwere ike igote ya.
So, and second person smoker, no Igbo folk are more effective on a second person smoker than the person be aware.
Yes.
I ask people like that. How big Igbo be at this girl na show like this? No, na-ese money. Well, they already know her. She's into it. If you see the way she was wrapping the thing, I was like, this fine girl like this is me.
I have seen a situation whereby somebody who is got something years, amaga Arabi, Muno na lo more money Igbo onye di 15 years.
Haba.
Welcome to BMTV in Nsukka. We are super excited to welcome you to our today's interactive program, and we are going to be talking about the effect of drug abuse amongst the youth. So today we are going to be talking about the causes, the consequences, and the solutions to all the problems that drug abuse causes. We know that drug abuse has to do with the illicit use of drugs, harmful use of drugs, and a lot of drugs are being abused by the youth nowadays. So we are going to talk about this because it is very important to human life and the society at large. Is a topic that has to do with everybody, because when the youths are involved, the future is involved. That is why we have decided to talk about it. I would also like you to, make your own contributions by the time you see this video. Now, we are going to start with talking about the causes. What do you think are the things that cause drug abuse? What makes people to start abusing drugs? I'll start with you.
Okay, in my own view, there are so many causes of drug abuse, but I would like to mention just a few of them.
Okay.
Drug abuse, evite drug abuse. One of them, coping mechanism.
Okay.
Coping mechanism is a situation whereby mere mmadụ. If I some okay, my nwoke in example ya. Ọ bụrụ na mmadụ na nwaanyị break heart unu. Instead that person just die ma ọ bụrụ na ọ bụ ihe ego meziri ike ọgụ. Instead the person na-ediri so when no na nwaanyị ọ na-aga work n'ụlọ ya work.
Yes.
Na some nwoke, some of them will kind of unbelievable heavy burn alcohol.
Yes.
While some will go into taking drugs. And I may take drugs in order to forget those things. And while taking drugs, there are some certain things on the mainstream. Only because we don't take it turns out to be a stimulant, some even cause the person to be hallucinated.
Yes. And you gradually becomes addicted.
Before you know it, the person will gradually become addicted. And people who use coping mechanism, who use drug as coping mechanism, the one way or the other, you find that optimally they've put it on certain things. Where you see people like young naked and I fall into depression, things like that. So another thing, and very, very important, now both causes of one of the causes of drug abuse, parents.
Okay.
Parents.
Yes.
Nwatakịrị na-afụ papa ya bụ n'isi.
When they expect,
Going to smoke.
we will not test her. Then the boy soon, hey, my go see Jack.
So nwatakịrị nna ya na-esi bụ n'enya ya is likely going to say,
Yes, that one is true.
nwatakịrị nne na-agba mkpụrụ mmiri n'enya.
It's actually very good bank room.
Mkpụrụ mmiri. No matter how you do it.
Yes.
That's saying for instance, Igbo. Nne ọ bụrụ nne nna na-esi Igbo, for example. Nne nna to the first person smoker. Nwa ya afọ nwa ya asụ is the second person
Smoker, yeah.
and second person smoker. No Igbo folk are more effective on a second person smoker than the person be available.
This is, yes.
Ụmụ isi ka na-afụ nwatakịrị develop a lung cancer more than 20 years.
Are you serious?
Yes. Because no, but this. No,
When they make hair,
no,
it's true.
being a second person smoker.
Okay.
You know what they say? And now, one of the causes of drug abuse or peer group.
Yeah.
Yes. Peer pressure.
That for Juba belong. How Juman.
I'm like you, man. Name I say any baby. You may and just like what happens to young ladies, like the young girls that end up being deflowered, they lose their baby.
Yeah.
Or the pain I say.
Ana kakoko
Yeah. So the same thing they make them working. They are essential. This thing here na is a man
on a higher mother where on a pirate, on a pirate.
You know that is no.
I'll buy
They good moral, like I would give.
not think of fat.
Now on me and I think of.
Because make they loud, like the kind of cat loud. You become loud when you take it.
Need take care need the very loud, effective.
But the internet, the one is guys, the open Ibu, each usually wine. Ninger putting me, no, and you go more. You why anybody who
And I go, Imalon, finally, you're more. So, some of these things, but you believe, causes of drug abuse. There are so many of them, but ne una can my sweet. That can happen to anybody if
and
sweet.
some persons will even think like it's just something that let me just try it.
They see it as casual.
Let's just try it. Everyone forgetting that brain hands not even knowing that when you take it that first time, you likely want to test it. Yeah, and inside you become addicted. It's true, it happens.
Yes,
That's
and another important cause of drug abuse in Nigeria now, but the economy.
okay.
We are also somehow forced into coping mechanism. When we go marriage, you lose the knowledge.
That one is true. As soon as I know I made a PDF book to support.
Man, meet your brain.
Yes.
Man, with the button, with the bala.
Oh yeah, burger.
Or be the dog clear.
You made me go make it's true.
Onion Nihana.
Me don't need to go work it.
Finding a way to get over, to come to terms that this thing has actually happened. The person who throw me away get over that particular thing is the best thing that can happen to that person instead of using maybe drugs so him alone he gets over that thing because some of these drugs
yeah, that is true. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the consequences since we have talked about the cause. So okay, thank you, love it. We have so many causes of drug abuse. Consequences, right? Okay, consequences of some consequences of drug abuse among the younger youths today. They are very severe and can be long-lasting. Okay. Then some of the physical, psychological, and health consequences include, I will many of them, but the few is what I'm going to mention. Then we have something like mental health issues. Then we can have addiction, just like he said earlier. Then we can have overdose. So these three things now, so the consequences and then too much of intake of a drug. When it comes to addiction, just like he said earlier, somebody addicted to something can lead to that person some persons because they had addicted to something, they cannot speak without taking it. Always somebody be near no man or 30 minutes. More say we yes. Then when always some of these drugs and they use when we are talking about the overdose side. Yeah. Always some of them age to just some illness. As in it's good for treatment of illness, like codeine, tutolin. I manage a treat okwara na kata. But I found out that the young youth today are finding another way of using it. That's misusing those drugs, which can cause drug abuse. Then, Marige go take codeine or go take tutolin, miss kote hanabo together, small call higher way. Now it can become fatal, as long as it's very fatal on that person because he mix those two things. You know what it can add. Okay, me mad or do too high. Or anywhere brain age from those things. You find out now the person who get mental health challenges. This is one they call the vaping.
whereby someone small electronic cigarette.
Yes.
You just put it in the nose like this, and smokes will be everywhere.
Okay. Something like marijuana now. I'm Igbo. Eji arata so many drugs. So, we can call tramadol, TM. Carbo pains. But you see some of them, mother have to put tramadol in the 4, 5, whatever. So that's why some of the shops near that's medical stores and are banned from selling it. Because it's not meant to be used anyhow. So I find that Nandi youth use a funny mehammer and after effect of it. That's the consequences behind it. When it comes to health issue, some people that mental health wanna cause some youths. When you have a mental problem, even mad only genus on a coil. Oberon when you had insane, totally insane. Man, the cause of that too much intake of a drug. Then some people are away for sometimes when you had they look very depressed. Do you understand? The person as now the medium matter, something like that. When you feel the cold, the person will always be feeling cold, and at that point in time, when you are depressed, another thing can cause make mad self. That person will be looking like how will I even say it? You'll be looking like somebody that people will be looking at you that you cannot amount to anything.
Somebody that is useless.
Yes, equal kwasi onye ọzọ mmadụ niile kwuchegodo okwu ọ bụrụ onye nke anya onye Igbo no other kind of a thing. So
because the person was already a shadow of him, because the effect of the drug is
Showing on the person.
in fact, drug has this tendency of taking over that person. Once drug takes over somebody,
the thing tended to go. Ị na-akọ onye ahụ na-akọ because brain ya kpọkọtara ọzọ na at that point in time. And aside the physical and the psychological aspects consequences, enwekwara other social consequences and the economic consequences. Something like we have some strained relationship. Ọ bụ na inwe nwanne na-agba mkpụrụ mmiri, you cannot have trust on that person. Because onye agara misbehave, you would drink yourself onye ahụ ego. You cannot entrust your money on the hand of that person because onye ọbụla na-agba mkpụrụ mmiri ma onye dị used to intake marijuana, that person can do and undo. Ndị na-ere property ụmụnne ha just ka ha nwere ike igote ya na. So ọ na-elebe the family bond, the trust and the bond na the family na this somehow. Ịbịa na family, o nwere ike after onye na-ekwu Igbo na this house. Asị na iri dịrị eju ha amago onye m na-ele anya whether ma ọ bụ nyanwa merie ma ọ nọ mere. So the trust a na-enwebe na ọ ga-adịzi so low because ma nke ime ma nke mere a ga-ebo gị. And so na one of the consequences a na-enwe, that social and economic consequence. Another thing is that if somebody they go down with all this too much intake of drugs, ụfọdụ n'ime a na-akpọ psychiatrist, ụfọdụ na-eji ahụ therapist. Yes. So you find that ọ bụ na the situation of Nigeria now, a child parents that they hardly afford 3 square meal in a day. Ijeje vutere parents the problem nke bụ na ha ahụghị ego oriri nri mana anyị edije ego iwuru ọnụ bụ something ọ ga na-emezi parents a na-adịzi economically deranged because ihe na focus na ka ha mara ihe ya eme ka ịbụrụ mmadụ at least because every child worth taking care of.
And another thing when it has to do with health, some of these drugs are even injected. And health.
So another very economic effect of
drug abuse.
And some of these people that are addicted to drugs, hand basic okay.
Yeah.
Mbele na heroji. If we want to be a commando, take a cara come. I don't give you see Umaga or as an only coach could always small. And I say, and actually come out with you before Umerica at some point. Either observe that a man of drugs be here cause that day. And some of these drugs, another very huge effect here, fatality. It can be very fatal.
Yes.
It kills.
That's
Some
true.
of them, it will subject them to depression. From depression, they will die.
Or you can commit suicide or something
Some
like
of them can even end up committing suicide.
You might even, this my student that had accident last year was as a result of intake of drugs.
You see?
It was in the morning that they found this.
Machine, so
Oji machine now. They will say go now one go now. So that one was
So some of these things, but in my own carelessness, and I have to put it, always some people who do not know how to even manage what they consume. The people consume things just because they have.
yeah, man, the another very take it.
They will
I
be
mean,
consuming it without looking at
The side effect of it.
consume this what
then you know, get jewel for me.
somebody doesn't feel well.
And I'm not attached. And it's very easy to
I'm getting
Yes,
the
some of them are very easy.
It's juice.
O nwere ndị da coordinate onwe ha
Nke ahụ ezi.
flexible. Some nwere ike coordinate onwe ha and they take in just on a very coordinated minimal
Yes.
way. But o nwere ndị ji ebere
O nwere ndị na-aṅụ, anyị ga na-aṅụ ya nkọm alcohol.
na nke Igbo kwa obere okwu na mkpụrụ mmiri ndị mkpụrụ mmiri mere I think 2 years ago onye na-enukwu ilo ya na ha na-eto oche na-egote
Onye nke je na-ama mama ya ụra sef.
ọ na-anọ na swimming pool and ndị nwe mkpụrụ mmiri a na-ekwu okwu ka ti emelose
Mkpụrụ mmiri wuru ewu, o wuru ewu last year triple. O wuru ewu last year on a secondary school student because most of them wanted to test. Onye nke edufuru from one of my students edufuru jere northern side na sị na ọ ṅụchara mkpụrụ mmiri lata na-ama mama ya ụra. Man, ụmụ na-etibe mkpu dị na-eti mkpu as na after that day dị maka na edufuziri jee gba ebe milk or something nọ. So after everything different and as a guy ka izi nke bụ mma gosi na mma ya na-ama mma ịrọ na ọ dị aka asị na ogbu oshi ka ya dịka akwụ ya n'iru ya na ihe ọ mara mma ya dịrọ mma ọ dịrọ mma chacha.
o nwere mmanụ siri igbo lata bụ nwa ya ajị mmanụ si na ajị n'ọra.
Okay. So there is so many consequences that attach this drug abuse.
When you are trying to talk to people,
They don't know that it's very difficult to convince somebody to stop taking drugs.
If the person is not actually willing to be convinced.
Yeah, can never. That's true. That's why addiction to someone.
The particular issue I had, that issue I was trying to talk to the person, it became a problem. Because the person was like, nah, I'm an adult. Why was I trying to talk to this person? I'm warming about the fresh. But no serious gonna Josh, no serious. So one thing we were just having in my own conversation. So I was like trying to tell him that yeah, no pahana with in mind. Yeah, really, no, I'm not abatari. Awesome one that see I got it for the week.
Imagine.
It became a problem.
Okay.
Last year I saw I went cool also.
Do you know the thing? The funny aspect of this is that it's not only limited to guys. Ladies are even into drugs.
True. True.
I was sitting somewhere the other day and I sighted a young lady, very beautiful young lady. I saw her rapping something. I was like, I asked people like, how would you go here this girl and show like this? I said, no, let's say money. They already know her. She's into it. If you see the way she was rapping the thing, I was like, this fine girl like this is small.
It's in our past now.
Small something like cigarette.
They are not hiding it.
Loud.
Very much. Ụmụ nwanyị nke Igbogodo oge amobeu ụmụ nwanyị na-esi Igbo na denebe anyị na ga-amajọ ma ọ help.
Carry more. Okay, it's true. It's true.
I don't know why they are doing it. Or help along
Some of them have boyfriends that smokers.
Anyways, I've had an issue whereby the person no boyfriend there be quiet only problem from there maybe I had to take the lady to the hospital.
This is serious.
Yes.
Oh no, the hospital at some point it was becoming something else. So, and her parents did not even know. They had to.
The parents, they might not even.
The fool in a rehabilitation center. She spent months in a rehabilitation center before she was able to recover to a good extent. You understand? So,
And the
In
rate,
fact,
the another consequences is the rate of increase in kidney failure these days.
That's it. When we were talking
Maka.
about health, we didn't even mention
Hey.
the issue of kidney.
Yes, because most of
Both
them
kidney
they
and
combine dry
And
gin.
the lungs.
They combine dry gin, that's alcohol,
Yes.
together with this all this mkpurumi and TM.
Yes.
Oh, in the book, like I'm somebody that is close to me, the person takes marijuana. Manoya doesn't take alcohol at all. Or that the green button koja.
Somebody was even talking about that. So,
No nesi but manevia. All kind in never the fresh. It's not as if I'm promoting that people should be taking drugs. But when they use the sense, man, some people because now how many years on the near Yakubo no when I'm you don't have the money to buy both the gin and the but I have discovered no longer but
1 to 1.
ebe ọbụla ị hụrụ ya o ji wọta
Yes.
mana ọ na-esi ọ na-ese godu gogo
Oh,
ọma nọ nwụ like a day without ise na opekete mpe 3 ratụ iwetagopụta nke ha na-ata ata mana ọ dị take anything alcohol like o nwere ihe dịka alcohol intake every time e gwere ya na o ji bottle water and then ọ na-atachibe well fruits o jiri fruits egwu
I
whatever.
heard some ladies. Sorry, I want to say something.
Okay.
I overheard some ladies saying that they prefer someone who smokes to someone who drinks alcohol. And I was like, wow. Why would somebody prefer somebody that smokes to someone that takes alcohol?
They will tell you it's their choice.
It's choice, Sha.
Yeah.
It's choice.
Women will, or some women, let me know that, like, some women will tell you, na head your woke, gang this, gang no man, that one nice.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, you did much one.
If you do not take these things, let me tell you, if you do not take these things and start dating them, they will tell you, why not be a man?
Yeah. You marry any
So if you do not have alcohol, then once in a while, with the same women, they prefer somebody who smokes.
Yeah.
So, to somebody who drinks.
Both drinks.
So, and again, to one might is like it's a thing of choice. You define your purpose, you define what you want to get involved in,
Yes.
and you do not weigh that strong will that you are not going to allow anybody
To push you into
something
what you don't want.
like that.
Exactly.
Because one of the problems in our society today, with very flexible mind.
Yes.
They are very easy to convince to do not.
Yes, they are gullible. Very easy.
Very, very gullible. Now, kidney failure, liver failure, lungs, somebody who like 30 years.
I'm telling you.
Why? Because of the things the person consume.
Yeah, mother, you don't know.
Oh, when I know somebody, I think just last week, I told the person, if you are being controlled by what you eat, more okay, you have a very big problem.
Yes, that's true.
If you cannot control yourself.
In after you have lost a control over
Yourself.
So why do you allow yourself to be controlled by
What you
It's a long.
That's very bad. Okay, we've talked much on the consequences. Is there any solution at all? Of course, there should be solutions, but something very tangible enough to be able to, remedy all these consequences that we have mentioned. Do you have something to say?
Thank you. There are so many solutions to drug abuse. One of it is educating the youth on the side effects of drug abuse. People should be educated on it. Just like this program I name now is one of the way of creating awareness.
Yes.
Can the mother side effects the one he
Yeah, you did too.
He gave you like 10,000 naira gote. Then in big energy dialysis, kidney dialysis, and a ego.
Yes.
Some of the youths are my parents inherit what I have with. Somebody can survive.
Exactly.
Yes.
What I want. So, a question where educational awareness to educate the younger youths about the excess intake of
education. Another problem we have in our society is that people are not exposed. People are not enlightened. So many persons do not understand that there are implications, consequences to every action.
Yes, that's true.
If more the person will just be doing something because
and then that's only me. That's true.
So people need to understand this thing no effect to, no consequences. So when they have that proper education, no consequences, they will be able to at least self-advise. Because I can tell you that some of these people need seeing, advising them or now advising them in one way or the other, unless you are advising them in a conventional system, which is proper educational system for maybe it creates awareness
For the youth.
Maybe heading a secondary school, organizing seminars before you will be able to call them, but maybe now you attach an incentive to it. Without an incentive, it's heavy because so no,
Moya hanga so we say so we na say get any change. There is no change.
Spending more money into it.
Wasting resources.
See what that? So some of them without that education, 100 naira by the time you can buy who go to get. Ojiji Urupa make gambling.
It's true.
You see somebody, the person is addicted to drug and
Addicted to gambling.
That is close to
To them.
of them.
That is what it is.
So that's solution for parents.
Yes, because it's even that education that will make somebody to know that if I'm smoking and I'm drinking water, it will help to flush the system. Like you mentioned, I feel like that man is well educated. He's well, yes. For him to know that you should be taking fruit, yeah, you should be taking water, and instead of smoking and also taking alcohol. So education is very vital. I agree with you. So any other
There should be parental advice too.
good one?
There should be parental advice, and then parents should minimize the way they give their children pocket money. It spoils them a lot.
Okay.
Because each again what that in secondary school. I can remember when I was in secondary school, Pam Nabia Okuna high school fees.
Actually,
Mba kind of babos 30 naira to Sensipe. Then a week not calculated 30. I'm not be the anyhow. Yeah, call a good on with Ejimoku Ejes school, she some of the class with Ngoroku. Latin about that kind of a thing. But you go now, everybody. Because my parents actually my game one. What I carry secondary. Oh, you done a nice school now. Yeah, now Kuban education was scam. Parents na man right. What I carry no secondary school organize today machine. What I carry no go right. In me kayo. My parents are na a check umohe. Finally, no nya nwere ike ime ihe ọbụla ọ chọrọ ime. So many parents they don't care now. Ihe a na-agbakwa nwee nke ọzọ na-eme ọ bụ nke m ya dị iche. So parents should look into their children. Ụmụ gị na-esotego ịma na asị na ofu ndị na-amụ mana ọ bụghị ofu Chineke. Ịmụchara ụmụ na-emagụ ma onye nke ị na-feel like na onye a m ga-agbakwasịghị anya n'ihe ya ahụ.
yes.
So this kind of child needed special attention.
Yes.
That attention abụghị is care onye ahụ ewe with love.
It's low.
Mee ka gasị na dịka emere ka onye ahụ na-ezonu gị ihe. Yeah, I mean by parents should be looking into the day-to-day activities of their children. Oh, let us say, "Namo, Adam Kori, Tadiawam, oh no, I'm the my students. Most of them look more they are my friends. I want the man here they see if that's when you young them choice. Because you find that in the secondary schools, and they memorial instructions, some of them got mother, no cool, budget. Some teachers, EJ, heady way, she said, don't worry. And I name myself to B class can now form teacher because I have a special way of handling them. So I didn't mind the arts now the best having a strong head. Actually missing has the quantity biology. I don't okay, this shall be and can say, actually missing. Maybe Jeremiah, but when I had you by watching them, I say, I'm 9 inch and immense, them no only menjo, only Jack I do more. Only just a more tata. Only so Nejanoka. You may go to wonder love, money worry tare. So parents, you should have a way of looking into the day-to-day activities of your children. Then treat them with love.
That's true. I
Another
agree with
very
you.
important thing here was parental role. O nwere ndị na-eme bụ otu ụmụ nwoke na ụmụ nwanyị amata nwatakịrị swete enwe ọja n'ụlọ adịzuru onwe.
Elizabeth school.
Dịzuru onwe gị fụrụ ya. O nwere ike na-enye gị ego. But the key attention a father or a mother kwesịrị ịdị na-pay to their children. Some parents may mediate.
Yes.
And it's a very problem.
Yes.
parents should learn how to pay adequate attention to their children.
When their body change,
Because when you
they
don't pay
marry.
adequate attention to your children, I have seen a scenario whereby parents na-enye nwatakịrị ego ya na-eji akwụ ụgwọ akwụkwọ. Eji akwụ.
Okay.
It happened that enye nwatakịrị ego ya ji akwụ ụgwọ akwụkwọ.
O were je gori.
Gori,
Okay.
Gbagoro drop.
Yes.
Before the parents discover ya na tell them aka.
Okay.
That was true.
It's true.
Minimizing how often and egi na-enye nwatakịrị ọ na-aghọtala too much.
Yes.
So very, very important. Because again, you are somehow helping that child.
And exposing the child.
Exposing the child to taking some certain
Because
things.
when you don't have money to buy it, you will not buy
You will not buy
it.
it.
You will not even taste it.
And once that child gets used to ILG school, just 500.
Now, yes.
Yes.
Mboshi, ọ ga-aghọta n'osi nke onye.
That's it.
Test.
Yes.
So parents should learn how to pay very close attention to their children. Up to the name you. So you even to nip it at the board
Yeah.
or by attention. Mwage latent and often in pay attention. No severity.
Go see something now, or even
Just
behavior.
change.
That's
So when you go in there, no many to see a cheap boy. Don't make to go to the hand. Yes. Okay, and you'll be able to find out that net more than somehow. That's and you start talking to the child and start paying more attention and monitor even me. By then, more can verify because the drug has
Yes. Yes.
So more can verify. You'll be able to bring the child back
Close
and
and then.
nurture the child more until na ya no way na water nihe na ya na-emekwe no you could lead it into something else. So parents nwere a very big role to play and they should try as much as possible to make sure that they make their ime also na ego.
and the society also has a role to play in this.
Exactly.
Because even the adults, people that have gone beyond the age of, like, let's say 40, there are still some of them that are drug addicts.
It's true.
And you are showing bad examples to the
It's
ones
not
that are
just
growing.
being drug addicts. I've seen a situation whereby somebody who is got something years amaga ara people munu na alo mora mani igbo gonye di 15 years.
Haba. Onye asị ka ya test go di ya nwa ọkụ na asị
Who
mme.
is teaching
Ihe
you?
ọ mazịrị no na-egote. Ịma some certain tests of skill.
Okay.
So that nwatakịrị mara rap ya. Onye no skill ya. Ma nwere ike no ma ogotekwute of ages rap na isi.
Okay, from rapping to let me test. Yeah, I'm like you didn't remember even as a
Anyị Chiboy nyenu be kara apụ Igbo na ire apụchara ya isere ọnụ na ụwa mee. By then nwatakịrị nwere ike nọ mama ọ ga-emesi from there royal sogagara apụ mee.
Okay, so we have talked a lot on this topic, and we believe that you also will have something to say. So please make your comments. Before we wrap it up, I would like to, a kind of recap on what we have discussed. We have talked about the causes, we have talked about the consequences, and we have also talked about some of the solutions to the consequences or the problems that drug abuse cause. So if you have listened to us, if you are a parent or you are a youth
Or a
guardian or whatever category you are, you have a role to play in this. Whenever you notice that someone is into drugs, please find a suitable means of talking to that person.
Yes.
Or even find someone that is closer to the person, that when the person talks, the person will hear. Because someone who becomes a drug addict is not helping him or herself.
Yes.
The person will die young.
And then don't abuse the person. Correct that person with love. That word, correcting with love, is very important.
Yes, it's very important. So because when we make the youth to become better, we are actually doing something great for the society. Because like we always say that the youth are the futures of the future. Yes. So please, let's do our part as part of the society to correct with love people who are into drugs. And we don't need to mention those drugs because I know that you know. Many of the drugs that are being abused, we know them. But it's not about mentioning them, it's about how do we curtail the issues that comes with addicting drugs. So please, let us do our part to make sure that our youth becomes better. No drug abuse, Vico. This is a very serious.
Run away from it.
Run away.
It kills more than
It
anything.
is drugs.
Sane society.
Yes,
Like,
let's have
making
a
sure
sane
that people
society.
Reduce
So-
intake of drugs and
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening and viewing so far. And before you go, please follow us now. I beg, what do we do? Follow us for YouTube and locate us on Facebook at VMTV Nsukka. Make sure you also follow. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and then follow us on Facebook. And as you do that, may God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.